And find seats. I'm here to welcome everyone to our, I'm going to say, 5th annual, is that possible? 5th annual Penn Plays Fellowship program. We are here at the Writers' House delighted to partner with the Theater Arts program every year on what is, I think, a really unusual and unique project where we say student playwriting is important, and we want to focus time, resources, energy, attention to play development, which needs to be a process. It involves actors, it involves the writer, it involves readers, it involves an audience, it involves directors, it involves dramaturgs. So we're putting a lot into this, and we're really happy to do it. I want to start off saying this year's winner, Sam Frisky, is sitting right here, and we should give her a big round of applause. Yes. I hope this will be all right. So what we're doing is we're going to have a live reading of the script, and then we here will be invited to have a conversation about what we've just heard. It'll be led by Jackie Goldfinger, who's right here. So as you're listening, listen for things. Do we need to be told ahead of time what we're listening for, or?
No, but it's listen carefully because there will be questions.
This is not a class, but there will be questions. And this will be opportunity for the playwright to receive great feedback from us. So use your audience brain, your writing brain, your reaction brain. We all are in this. Then there will be a production, also a reading, more of a staged reading. It won't be a full-on show, but so what we do today will help with that, and that's at the Bruce Montgomery Theater on February 7th. Is that right? 7th?
Yeah.
February 7th.
Sam
Yes.
knows.
Yes. Sam, of course you know. So put that in your calendars. We'll send out lots of email, especially to people who RSVP'd today, so that you know when it is, but also just lots of announcements because we love this program. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it right over to these folks here, and I'm glad you're all here.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm David O'Connor. I'm directing the production, and usually I would just jump right into the play, but got here a little last minute, didn't really get a chance to talk to the actors before, so I'm going to just talk to the actors in front of everybody for a second before we begin. Hi, actors.
Hi.
I'm David. Do you want to introduce yourself to the audience? You could say?
Sure. Hi, I'm Bella.
I'm Elias.
Cool, Bella and Ilias, and they're going to read the play, two-character play. It's a reading, and these are good actors who have been on stage a lot before, and so you know the importance of eye contact with each other when you're sharing a scene. This is the opposite of that. The eyes stay, let's keep them mostly on the script, faces up. We don't have a lot of information, so all the information we have is the words in your faces. We don't have full production value behind everything, obviously, right? So we just want to be generous and open with the audience. So rather than playing towards each other, eyes on the script and sort of just play out to the room as things are happening. There's two different kinds of stage directions. For those of you who have seen a play script, yeah, there's some indication about how a line is to be said. Mostly in Sam's script, that's happening before the lines. I'm not going to read any of that. That's for you to act as much as you feel comfortable doing. There is some action that happens after lines sometimes, and those I will read to help the audience hear and understand what's happening on stage. I'll also read the settings at the beginning of each scene. But besides that, just sort of jump in, lean into the play, let it carry you, and have a great time. Likewise, let the play carry you and have a great time. Okay? Let's get started. This is Rabbit. Cast of characters: Morgan, a young woman, 20s. Ian, a young man in the 20s. The play takes place over the course of 9 years in an American suburb. Scene 1, 9 years ago. On stage right, there's a kitchen island with seating. On stage left, there's a 2-person couch. All of the furniture is in good condition, indicative of a happy home and comfortable financial status. The set remains the same throughout the entirety of the play. Morgan, at Rise, is on one couch. She is young, in her early to mid-20s, and dressed casually. She addresses the audience.
Appendicitis. The doctors didn't catch it early enough, so her appendix ruptured and turned her insides into mush. Killed her within hours. It's a horrible way to go, writhing around, your organs sloshing inside you. Preventable, too, which makes it all worse. No one likes to see a 10-year-old girl die. But knowing that a 10-year-old girl died when she didn't have to, it's shit. I'm okay, really, I'm okay. It was over a decade ago, and you learn to be okay with those kinds of things. You have to. But it's a hell of a mind game to lose a friend at that age. To realize that not everybody gets to grow up to be a doctor or a firefighter or a princess. To realize not everybody gets to grow up, period. Maybe an angry little kid. A fucking firecracker, I'm telling you. I was furious at God, really furious at him for having all the power in the world and using it to burst little girls like balloons. So one day I got on my knees, I slapped my hands together and I said, God, if you're going to kill me, kill me. But before you do, you have to give me a warning. None of this out of nowhere bullshit, no. If you're gonna kill me, send me a sign. An omen, send a rabbit or a raven to my front lawn and then same time one morning, and then I'll know. And then you can do whatever the hell you want. I don't know how I came up with the rabbit and the raven part, but it's good, isn't it? Subtle, but distinct enough that you'd be certain. And then I waited. I checked my front lawn every morning for years, but they never came. And nothing in me ruptured. Not literally, at least.
Present day. Stage right, Morgan is standing behind the kitchen island. Stage left, Ian is in the two-seater, which in this scene is used as a car. His hands gripped a non-existent wheel, and he turns his head often to check on his daughter Fiona, who is never seen. Morgan and Ian are on the phone with each other.
When one twin gets sick, the other twin gets sick. It's inevitable, and you're telling me that...
That Emma's fine, really. The lucky son of a gun is chickenpox free. Fiona's got it, that's for sure, but she's a trooper. She's... oh shit, not again.
Turning behind him to address Fiona.
Fiona, sweetie, what did the doctor say about scratching?
You checked Emma before you dropped her off at school, didn't you? Thoroughly?
Twice. 3 times, even. No rash, no fever. The kid is the healthiest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, sure. She's healthy, for now. Soon enough, we're gonna have 2 sick kids on our hands, and it'll be a madhouse.
They're kids. Kids get sick. It's fine. Slap a wet rag on their head, stuff them with ibuprofen, and call it a day.
I know that. I do. I know it's fine, and we'll deal with it,
But what?
But the other parents, Ian, they're gonna think that...
Morgan, you have to learn for your own sake, if not mine, to not give a shit what other parents might... Fiona, sweetie, do me a favor, kiddo. Hands at your sides, please.
We look like anti-vaxxers, for Christ's sakes. Who gets the chicken pox anymore?
Fiona, apparently. The doctor said...
But the vaccine is only 94% effective. I know, you told me.
He also said that her symptoms are mild. She seems in good spirits. And now with a little medication, she'll be back in school with her sister in no time. It's going to be okay.
Did you already pick up her prescription?
I'm trying, but Annapolis Road is closed.
Annapolis? Why would Annapolis be closed?
Well, that's what I'm trying to ask you.
Maybe the school's doing something. Carnival field day? I don't know. If we missed volunteering for another fundraiser...
I don't think so. It didn't look like a carnival.
Oh, thank God.
It didn't look good. There was police tape for some reason, a squad car, maybe 2.
All because of that horribly designed intersection, I'm sure. I nearly get rear-ended every time I go to pick up the girls from school. There's a blind spot that...
Her phone rings.
Hold on, Ian. Someone's...
Shit, they blocked off Moylan Drive, too. I can't...
Do you know why Patrick's mother would be calling me?
Police sirens in the distance.
I don't know. I'm trying to get out of here, but I can't seem to... Hey, now, Fee, we're almost home, baby. Be patient for me, okay?
Is she okay?
Something's not right, Morg.
What do you mean?
I mean, something's not right here. I mean, something's wrong. There's 5, 6, 7... 7 police cars. 7 police cars around the school, and...
Jesus Christ, what?
Incoming call, phone buzzes, Morgan checks her phone, scrolls, read the worst news. At the same time, Ian peers his head out the window, looking into the distance. Both stare out into the audience.
Oh my God.
7 years ago, Ian and Morgan are center stage. Morgan wears a hospital gown, very clearly heavily pregnant. She's connected to an IV bag on a pole.
I made this worth for myself, you know. Birth karma.
Birth karma?
I took 9 years to be born. So these babies will too. Twice as long, maybe. Could you imagine 18 hours of labor? Jesus.
There's no such thing as birth karma, Morgan.
You don't know that. These girls have made it very clear they're coming out when they want to. This is the start of it. The start of our schedules no longer being our own, of our schedules being theirs, with our own hobbies and interests in the footnotes. No, not even in the footnotes. Crossed out, scratched out, because they're gone. Through.
You make it sound like an invasion.
Isn't it? A parasitic invasion?
Charming.
Me getting pregnant was a lot like getting tapeworms, really. One day you grab your stomach and go, fuck, something's not right here.
You've never even had tapeworms, you idiot.
No, but I can imagine, pregnancy, tapeworms, it's basically the same thing. You're sick all the time, your stomach is protruding, your good genes don't fit.
Can we kill this analogy?
Why?
It makes me feel uncomfortable.
You're the uncomfortable one here?
Okay, sure. But an analogy like that makes it sound like they were unwanted or something.
Well, it's not like they were exactly wanted either.
Don't say it like that.
Well, we weren't trying to get pregnant, were we?
Well, sure, but when you found out, didn't you just know?
What? You're telling me you just knew?
You didn't?
I mean, that's a hell of a thing to be sure, Ian. These are babies we're talking about. Babies. Babies who become toddlers, who become kids, who become adults. Adults who still expect emotional labor from you. I mean, with babies, it's a forever type obligation. It's just...
Are you sure now?
Well, it doesn't really matter now, does it?
Jesus, Morgan.
Baby. I'm joking, okay? I'm joking. I'm ready. I'm sure. Am I scared shitless? Yes, absolutely. But I'm here, okay? I want this.
Then what changed?
What are the odds that someone lives their whole life and ends up happy?
What?
What are the odds that someone lives their whole life and at the end of it they say, hey, that was pretty darn good?
I don't know. 75%.
Oh, you don't believe that, do you? That can't be true.
Well, you think it's lower than that?
Oh, much lower. I'm talking about a genuinely happy person, Ian. Really, actually, truly happy.
5 out of 10.
Bullshit. I'd be surprised if more than 1 out of 10 people succeeded in finding actual sustained happiness. I think most people die unhappy. I really do.
How cynical are you?
The odds are against us. They just are. Because you can try to be happy, try to pursue good in your life, and then something always happens. You get sick, you get poor, you get sad, and just like that, you're unhappy. Because happiness is fleeting. And if you find happiness, if you get enough of it to say without irony that you, yourself, and all of your being is happy, what luck. Do you know the odds of naturally conceiving identical twins? Less than 0.5%. Less than 0.5%. When I found out we were having twins, I thought, if they beat the odds once, why couldn't they beat them again?
Present day, Ian and Morgan are at the kitchen island with a giant calendar spread out before them. Over the course of the scene, it should become progressively clearer that they are scheduling. They are somber, to say the least. Morgan slightly unwound.
Tuesday. What about Tuesday?
We can't. Patrick's family already booked Tuesday. Wednesday?
There's already 4 on Wednesday. Amber, Peter, Sam, that redhead kid with the round glasses.
Jason.
Yeah, Jason.
Monday, then.
Your mother's arriving on Tuesday.
She could miss it, couldn't she?
Morgan, you can't be serious.
What do you suggest instead?
Well, I really think Patrick's family would understand if we...
No, absolutely not. The girls love Patrick, and Fiona should go, shouldn't she?
Should she?
They were in the same class for 2 years straight, and...
Even so, don't you think that'd be scarring for her to... I mean, Morgan, she's 7.
Sure, she's 7, but when she's 37, looking back on all this, don't you think she'll need closure?
What kind of closure can a 7-year-old get?
The insufficient kind. I'm trying here, Ian. I'm trying.
And you think that I'm not?
No, of course not. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, but you think that...
I think she should go, yes.
Does that mean Fiona is going to Emma's?
Yes, of course she will. Emma is her It's for her sister, Ian. Shouldn't she...
No, you're right. We just didn't talk about it, and...
I didn't know that it needed to be talked about.
She'll go. Of course she'll go.
Maybe she shouldn't. Maybe that's not closure. Maybe that's torture. I don't know.
Fiona will understand when she's older that this was in impossible situation, to say the least, and that we tried our...
Best? That's supposed to console her, that we tried our best?
What else can we do?
She doesn't have any chance at real happiness left, does she? No matter what we do.
Don't say things like that.
People don't grow past things like this. This is the kind of thing that stunts you, that takes you to a certain place and it never lets you go.
Baby, we can only hope that with time she'll...
Do you think she'll forget her?
Forget Emma? Morgan, no, of course not.
Fiona could forget her completely, couldn't she? Forget that she had a sister in the first place. Forget that her classmates are dead. Forget that she's entangled in this tragedy. If we never mention it again, maybe she could...
That's not realistic, Morgan. She won't.
She could. Like you said, she's 7. What if one day she just didn't remember any of it? Wouldn't it be selfish then to remind her, to make her remember for our sake?
Sweetheart, we can't...
I want to forget it. Everything, all of it. I want to forget it so badly.
That's not coping, Morgan.
It's not. The difference is effort, Ian, and I don't have effort left to give. I really don't.
Then what do we do here?
Self-induced amnesia?
That's not... This isn't funny, Morg. Do you think this is funny? You want to forget everything, huh? The girls? Me? Jeez. Look me in the eyes right now and tell me again that you want to forget me.
This isn't about you.
This isn't about me. Our daughter dies, and this isn't about me. You can't keep acting like this, like you're going through this alone, like you're the only one that's lost anything at all.
People have capacities, Ian. I've reached mine. I have to leave. I
You
have
can't
to.
be serious.
My mother said I can go home with her after the services.
And you said yes.
I want to go home, Ian. I need home.
Then where are we right now? Some rental you stumbled into?
This isn't home anymore. This is just a reminder, a sick fucking reminder.
And what about Fiona?
Stop that.
Stop what? Stop reminding you that we still have a daughter who lost just as much as you and stands to lose more, considering her mother is ready to take off and run.
It would be temporary. Temporary until
This is a delusion, Morgan. This isn't what people do. This isn't what adults do. This isn't what parents do. This is
what I'm doing. Okay? This is what I have to do. Don't you see that?
4 years ago, Morgan and Ian are having a well-deserved night off from parenting. Morgan is spread across the couch, wine glass in her hand, slightly drunk and overly emotional. Ian, far more coherent, is in the kitchen, unfazed.
Are we bad parents?
Where'd you put the wine opener?
Ian, I'm trying to ask you about something important here.
And I'm trying to open another bottle.
You don't worry about it at all? Failing our children?
Our children are happy, healthy, and well-fed. So no, I don't worry about it much at all. Why'd you put it over here?
They're 3, Ian. 3. They're getting to the age where they'll actually remember things, which means they can remember all the bad parenting we do.
More importantly, they can remember all the good parenting we do too. Like all the times we kept their hands out of electric sockets, or dog shit, or radioactive waste, or...
What if, without even realizing, we say some toxic bullshit that sticks with them forever?
Then they'll be like every other person who's ever had a parent. I'd offer you more, but you seem to have had enough.
I am not drunk. I'm introspective.
Those aren't mutually exclusive.
Everyone I know, I've ever known, has problems with their mother. It's inevitable then that our daughters will have a problem with me. That they'll go to therapy because of me.
Is this based on a sample size of 1?
I'm just saying that parents can make or break a person. And most of the time, they break a person. They break them hard. This simple, universal truth remains true, even if we go back to the very beginning of time.
Oh, the beginning of time, why not?
We're the real parents of the dinosaurs, the older dinosaurs. Not really. It was the comet, Ian. The real parent was the comet, because parents are the things that destroy you the most.
Oh, so you're drunk, aren't you?
In my defense, I haven't had alcohol since When did we hire the babysitter for your work thing?
December.
In my defense, I haven't had alcohol since there was last snow on the ground, so now I am...
Rambling about dinosaurs.
I was getting somewhere with that. I was...
Morgan, baby, look at me. You're a good parent, all right?
You're just saying that.
Oh, I mean that. The girls worship the very ground you walk on.
They do?
They do. Morgan, believe me when I say this. I couldn't think of a better mother in the entire world if I tried. Those girls are happy, sweetheart. Those girls are happy because they have you.
They kiss, a moment of picturesque, uncomplicated domestic bliss. Present day, Morgan and Ian are on the two-person sofa. Both are uneasy, stiff. Morgan is unsettled, antsy. Morgan has moved out. This is her first visit in a month.
I've been reading a lot about traditional American funeral practices, about how they're inherently bad for the environment. There's a lot of chemicals involved in embalming, carcinogens.
Morgan, really,
but the best thing you could do, earthwise, is put the body in a burlap sack, bury it, and call it a day. We should have done that for Emma. Considered it, at least a burlap sack. All those chemicals alter bird migration paths, you know, and Emma was very environmentally conscious, and when we bury her, we shouldn't have ignored that. I mean, loosely, yeah. I think she would have been if she'd had a chance to be. What do you say, Eden? She didn't hate the environment, that's for sure. She liked eating her lunch outside, and flowers. She liked flowers.
Most people like the outdoors and flowers, but that doesn't make them environmental.
Maybe she wasn't, but she could have been, you know? We should have tried to honor that. We should have tried harder to honor all of the things she didn't get to be.
Okay.
Forget it. Forget the sack thing.
No,
Forget
Morgan, listen,
I know I sound insane, Ian. I'm aware. And I think that's the last bit of sanity that I have left. That I know I sound insane.
You're upset. You have a right to be upset.
Have you talked to my mother?
Briefly. How is it up there with her?
New Haven? Boring, as ever. Did she tell you that she thinks I have an eating disorder?
She didn't. Do you?
Maybe. I don't think so, but who can tell, really? She's just concerned. And I'm just not hungry, I suppose. I'm full of something, who knows what, maybe it's dread, grief, mouthfuls and mouthfuls of grief. I can't do it. Eat. I mean, I can't eat because I'm convinced that when I swallow something, it won't have anywhere in me to go. I like to think that one day it'll just come back. The hunger, I mean. And it'll come back all at once. Weeks and weeks of hunger will just appear. And I'll be insatiable, really, Ian. I'll eat, and finally I will just I listened to the audio.
Tell me you didn't.
A week ago. It's out there. Everywhere. I had to. You can't ignore something like that forever, Ian. It was inevitable.
On that, Morgan. We agreed on that, and you
went.
You didn't, Morgan. That's the thing. You didn't have to, and that shit you can't erase. That's a permanent brain-altering kind of thing.
You can hear her.
Stop it.
It's brief, but it's her, Ian. I know, and around the 40-second mark, you can hear Emma.
Stop
it.
God damn it, Morgan. I'm begging you. You need to stop. Okay, stop.
And then you never hear again, not even once. Ian, please, don't you get what I'm trying to tell you? She went quickly, Ian. She went quickly.
A year ago, Morgan is alone, center stage, casually dressed, young mother vibes. Happy, hopeful.
There's something about raising young daughters that makes you feel infinite. Like you're expanding inwards and outwards in every which direction. It's empowering, I think. to do the impossible. Not that little girls themselves are impossible. No, what I'm trying to say is sometimes it feels impossible raising someone in a world that wasn't built for them. Because this world really wasn't built for little girls. And I won't accept that. I want them to know that they can be anything, do anything, love anyone. I want them to know that when the world fails them, I won't. I swear to God, I won't. Or at least I'll try not to. I think that'll be the greatest privilege of my life. Promising to do best by them. And just think, I get to make that promise twice.
End of play. And this is our dramaturg, Jacqueline Goldfinger.
Hello, hello. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break because I know there are a couple folks who have to get to class. And then I hope you'll join us in here for a little bit of a Q&A for about 15 minutes. So we'll see you back in 2.
Thank you, too.
Q&A. Hello, and welcome back. Again, another round of applause for Sam.
Thank you.
Phenomenal job, phenomenal early draft. So the first thing I always like to ask audiences is for popcorn. What are the things that stood out for you? What excited you about the piece? Basically, this exercise makes sure that we don't throw away the good stuff, right? That we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So it's useful for us to hear in the revision process what is working for you, what excites you.
I recorded this mic so we can have it as a document for Sam later.
Awesome. Oh, Mike. Go for it, Mike.
What's up? So I already read the play before today because Sam's awesome. But I really love the way that like you jump between time in this play, and you know it could have been just like as a gimmick, but it feels like each scene, the back and forth, they really talk to each other in like a very direct way. So.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Tapeworms. I'm going to say I love the tapeworms.
The scene with the alcohol in the kitchen, I just like loved it so much, and they felt so human and real and like a normal, funny conversation, but not like so funny it couldn't happen in real life. You know what I mean? It felt like normal, funny people being human.
Thank you.
I thought you did a really good job of helping us to like immediately start empathizing with the characters, and they're rich and unique, but they also, you can imagine them being your own parents or being people that you would know in your community and in kind of any community, and I thought you did a really good job of that.
Thank you.
I think that for the car scene and the calendar scene, I thought those were very powerful scenes because a lot wasn't said, but a lot was understood, it really tells you how powerful the words are. Because this is not even staged, but just through the words, you're like understanding what's going on behind this, even though it's not explicitly said, which I thought was very powerful.
You said the car scene and another scene?
When they're scheduling, yeah.
Are you aware that people are going to think about John Updike with the suburbs and Rabbit?
No.
It's the first thing I thought of. Well, I'm a fan of John Updike, and I've read all his books, so it's a compliment to you.
Oh, thank you.
I like when you have the characters competing to talk over each other a lot, because in real life, no one waits for other people to talk. You kind of just want to interject when you want to. So, like, I think it sells.
Except when there's a cordless mic involved.
I was tickled by the anti-vax, the fear that people would think they're not vaccinating their children. There's just something that struck me funny about that.
Hi, I really liked the part, the happiness conversation, like people who dies and they truly reflect on their life and if they're happy or not. And I feel like this play really traverses like the big existential questions, but really fits in nicely with this specific story. And it's deeply personal and deeply specific, but I do think that you got that like universality through specificity lens, like really just like 100%. So, yeah.
So since so much was beautifully left said and unsaid in both ways, but one of the questions we're going to ask ourselves during the revision process is there anything where people were confused in a way that was not useful? Was everyone able to track the kind of the plot, the basic story? Was there any moment you were confused or felt like you needed more clarity? Confused in a way that was not useful? Seeing a lot of no shaking heads, please.
Are these actors the ones that are going to be in the production?
We haven't discussed that yet, but I agree they did a phenomenal job. So we'll communicate about it. I hope so.
Well, my confusion was why Bella was she had wonderful lines, wonderful dialogue, and she delivered them so quickly that I felt it took away from the beauty of the language.
So pacing. So pacing is a great thought, and that's absolutely something that we will be working on in rehearsal. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. Yes, sir, in the back.
Hi, Stu.
Hi, Patrick.
Hello. I imagine that during the actual stage performance, there would be no narration saying 7 years ahead of time. So there will be, or there will not be.
We don't know yet, but that's a question.
It'll be clear in some sense.
Right.
Okay, because I could imagine that you not being exactly able to tell if this is like that same set of twins. Did they happen to have 2 sets of twins for some reason? Things like that. Like just kind of clarifying when that timeline is without explicitly saying it, I think is something important to consider.
And I think that's a great thought. Absolutely. Thank you, Patrick. Anyone else who was confused by something, needed more information, again, confused in a negative way, because you can be confused in a positive way as an audience. Sometimes that can lead to mystery. Yes, Carrie?
Yeah, this is confused in a positive way, and that is not knowing how the girl who died of the burst appendix belongs in the timeline, in the relationship, and what becomes of her. And I don't know that I need to know that, but it's a window onto a life that is somebody else's story, but affects the character or the characters. And I'm wondering whether there are other opportunities. I don't mean to hear about her, but other windows onto other things in their lives that are part of who they are and what they bring to the experience of the event of this play.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Carrie.
I'm not sure if this comes under the category of confusion, but just to expand upon what Carrie just said, I would be so interested in a window into Ian's past. He emerges so clearly as the raisonneur. He emerges so clearly as the voice of reason. I would love to see him more confused at times. This is a tough relationship, and it's an extremely tough situation. So it would be really, I think, interesting place to expand his character.
And that is a beautiful segue, so thank you, Marcia, into we do have the opportunity to expand this into a longer one act. So was there anything you were hungering for? Anything that you were like, I'd love to know more about that aspect. Sam may or may not choose to expand in that area, but it's sometimes useful to know what is really grabbing people's imagination. So anywhere you wanted to expand it. Wanted to know more. We're hungry. Thank you, ma'am.
I thought the relationship could be expanded upon. I was left up in the air about what happens to these people. Sure. It's not exactly necessary, but it's just a thought.
Thank you. Thank you. In the back and in the front. Whichever way.
I think if you're adding more scenes, I would love figuring out how those people got together and them in sort of a positive sense, when you're not on a completely different page about something in life, what are you on the same page about, and why do you like each other?
Oh, thank you. I like that.
Nice. Thank you.
I thought the mention of the eating disorder kind of grabbed me a bit because I think it was mentioned but then not really returned to. So I think a big deal with that, and then also continuing how people cope with grief in that way, developing other mental illnesses or something like that would be interesting to maybe explore.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Kind of related to the eating disorder topic, I think the woman's relationship with her own mother would be an interesting thing to expand upon.
Thanks.
I went in and out of the room a little bit because I was trying to get them to stop drilling. Sorry.
Jessica.
Sorry it didn't work.
No,
but
you're a rock star.
But
Thank
so
you.
this might have been already part of the text, so apologies if so. And I don't know if I'd want more of this, but the sense of the other children who are named in the calendaring, possibly a window into those other children, even in just the mentioning them way, the play dates way. It might be really hard. This play left me. This was a hard thing to hear, so that might make it harder.
Thank you. And Sam, did you? Oh, sorry. Was there someone else? Okay. Awesome. Sam, did you have questions you wanted to ask the audience?
I was going to ask about how time works in this play, and I think we've addressed it. Patrick's point played right to it, so thank you for that. I think my pressing questions have been addressed.
Fantastic. And do we have any final questions or thoughts? And when we're talking about final questions or thoughts, what we're asking for is not how you would write the play, but if you want to write a play, I support it. Come take my class and do an independent study. It'll be fun. Ask Michael. But just in terms of thinking about where Sam is going with this piece, the aesthetic of the piece, the characters of the piece, are there any last final questions or thoughts that you'd like to share? Thank you, Marcia.
Yeah, I have a thought just from a directorial point of view.
Sure.
Which is, I'm curious about style and how, of course, I'm not sure if David read all of the stage directions or if the stage directions address style or lighting or anything like that. But if I was to mount this and direct it, I would wonder how much flexibility I had, because it jumps around in time so much, there's almost like a magical realism aesthetic there. So I guess this is a production question, really. I'm not even sure if that's germane to a playwriting discussion.
Absolutely. No, it's always great to think about style because that's going to shape the dialogue. So thank you so much, Marcia. And this gentleman right here in the pin shirt.
Hi, Dad.
Apparently, it's Sam's dad.
It's my dad. It's
Good
a guest
job.
appearance.
Very proud dad. The beginning of the play opens with the 10-year-old female lead. Her friend dies of appendicitis, and she often looks out the window for the raven and the rabbit. And the title of the play is Rabbit.
Yeah.
How does the play and the 10-year-old experience filter through the rest of the mom's life? How is that affecting what we saw?
Sure. So there's the question of why did I name the play Rabbit, especially when it's just in the opening scene. To me, this is a play about pairs, about partnerships, and about absences. So we have the pairing and the partnership of Morgan and Ian. We have the twins, and then we have the rabbit and the raven. And so Morgan says that that for her, if they were together, it would be a signal to her of impending doom. But really what ultimately becomes the impending doom is when a partnership is broken, when one of her daughters dies and the other doesn't. So by calling it Rabbit, I'm very subtly alluding to this absence of there isn't a rabbit and a raven, there's just a rabbit. This is a story about when people are missing.
Lovely.
Dad liked it.
Well, we always like to hear that, don't we? Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you will join us in the back for a celebratory reception. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.